we got to get into the big topic of the show. And I know this was a big topic as we opened up the show, but the next one I think is, in my opinion, even bigger. Marathon. This is a conversation that I think, look, I know there's been a lot of talk, and I've seen even some developers come out, and everyone seems to be trying to put out this fire that unfortunately has started since what happened with Concord. Concord is an eyesore for PlayStation that is going to be there for the rest of the eternity. The internet doesn't forget. And I saw a lot of developers coming out and saying, "Hey, listen, let's not, beat up on Bungie because of the failings of Concord." Literally, one of the Concord developers, did a whole big post on it. I will say this. I am not interested in this game whatsoever. It is an extraction shooter. It looks extremely stylized, and I think it looks dope. It is Bungie, and I will give credit where credit is due. They have some of the best shooting mechanics in gaming. Make no mistake of that. Now, is it still the best? I guess that could be up for debate, but I can honestly say that their shooting mechanics, at least for me, have always been tip of spear. This is a situation where they're coming out with a game that is $40. The asking price of this game is $40. Now, you may say, whoa, boom, that's not that big of a deal. $40. Well, yeah, it kind of is when it's launching with 3 maps and 6 operators, and that's it. This is releasing bare bones. Now, granted, there are people, it is an alpha, right? People are playing it. Some people have already played it, like Paris Lily has played it. Several people in the community that I know have played it. And obviously, they can't talk about it. But the truth of the matter is, and I'm going to go in reverse order. I'm going to go first to Jamie Moran, because Jamie was the most excited out of the entire panel. He has been excited for this game. And I hate to say this, and then we'll bring Crispy in and, of course, Infinite Umber on and get their hot takes on this. This is going up against the likes of Apex Legends and Call of Duty Warzone, which seems to have struck it gold with revisiting one of the old maps. And of course, and I know that their games are different, I understand, but right now, everything is losing to Marvel Rivals. That game just continues to grow a fan base, and it just keeps hitting and hitting and hitting. This is a game, Jamie, that you were excited for, and since its original showing a couple of days ago, obviously last week, every time I read an article, it seems to get worse. The more information about this game that is put out there, it seems like it's not going to hit. I want to get your thoughts on this because, again, nobody wants any game to fail. Not here at Double Barrel Gaming and nobody on this panel. Marathon has a shot at potentially being a hit, but it also, Jamie Moran, has a shot on missing. Let's get your thoughts on what you've seen so far.
I mean, I'll get this out of the way quickly. I'm obviously an Xbox fan. I cover Xbox exclusively. But I've been rooting for this game because for people that don't know, I don't really do multiplayer. Not really. But I've been craving. And because I watch a lot of Escape from Tarkov, which is a PC game, I've been craving for an extraction game on console. And the truth is, we have 2. There's 2 available on console, and they are both crap. I hate to say it, they're both crap. So I've been looking at this thinking, right, it's sci-fi. It's already got my attention, and it's an extraction game. It's got my attention again. So I've been excited to see this in action. And the gameplay I have seen, look, it's Bungie first-person shooting mechanics. It's obviously going to be fun. But if it feels like, and for people that don't know, and I've seen some multi-million subscriber accounts describe this game as a battle royale. Extraction games are basically you put into a map, you get given an objective, you have to retrieve something, and you have to leave. Your weapons are to procure on site, and if you die in the zone, you drop everything you have, and you have to start all over again. And then you take everything back that you do have back to your stash. So you can it's a risk-reward situation. So do you want to go into a zone with just a basic handgun and just have like that be the only thing that you might lose if you get killed. That's how it works, and that's what makes Escape from Tarkov fun to watch. And Tarkov will never come to console. I could cry myself to sleep at night. So I've been looking at this, been paying close attention to it, and as someone that's been actively excited for it, there's been tons of little bits of information that I think that is it's not going to do the game any favors. You know, the extraction market on console is extremely small because, one, nobody knows what the hell it is. People keep talking about it as it's a battle royale. Gamers haven't been introduced to extraction games on a big scale on console. And everything I've heard about this game, it's just like, it sounds less and less appealing. So, for instance, there's no proximity chat. For people that watch Tarkov or play Tarkov, that's kind of a big factor. That's one of the fun parts of it. It's team-based only, but you can play solo, but you're playing against other teams. And for an extraction game where it's a risk-reward scenario, why the hell would you play alone? There's not going to be other game modes, so no solos only mode, no team-based only mode. What else? Oh, the price. Look, the price is the big factor, right? It's a premium title with battle passes. I've said this with Call of Duty. I've said this with every other game. If you are paying for a video game, you shouldn't have to pay for a battle pass. The skins of those characters, those weapons are already on the disc, are already in the download code. So why should you have to pay to earn stuff how we used to unlock things 20 years ago or 15 years ago? So I think battle passes do not belong in a premium game. It being $40 and the extraction game, this should have been the extraction game to make extraction games popular on console. It really should have been. And I'm still rooting for the game. I want to play it. I'll jump into a beta test whenever that's live.
Right.
But like it being $40, which is what my guess is what the price is going to be.
That's the hot rumor that it's gonna launch for $40.
Yeah, and as I was saying in the DMs the other day, I thought it was going to be 40 because if this was 70, the studio's done, they closed forever. 50 and 60, I think, is a bit of a weird mark. 40. If anything, if they have to charge money for this, it has to be $20 or £15. And people might think, well, this is a high quality game, Bungie first person shooter. Why would they charge that little for it? It's because it's these games, these battle pass games, you are basically paying money essentially every month to play the game, right? Without it being told to you that way. You're basically paying every month. You're given these massive incentives to join battle passes, unless you can actually earn the points to redeem a future battle pass, like you can with I think you can with Fortnite and Call of Duty and Fall Guys. It's a lot of money in the end. And this is also going to have skins, and it's also an operator hero-based extraction game. So they combined a bunch of different elements from different genres that no one was asking for, right? All they had to do was come out with a sci-fi extraction game. There's elements from Tarkov in it, which I really like. But it's a tall order, right? The extraction games aren't big on console. So them to be basically the first AAA one on the market on console to go, hey, we're going to charge money up front and you're going to do battle passes. Like, it's crazy. But here's the thing. I really hope the game does well. I really do. Bungie, like, they've been an institution in the gaming space for over 20 years. They made bloody Halo, right? Gaming wouldn't be what it is today without them. So, like, they need this to be a success. Destiny has had its ups and downs. People don't know what's happening in the future. There's been a lot of people laid off, all kinds of scandals and that. But if you're coming out into the market in a busy time when all these games are costing insane amounts of money to develop, to be the extraction game, to basically, try and get console gamers to play it and you charge money for it, it's risky. It really is. And I've seen people mention, every time I mention the $20 price tag, they laugh because, it's a Sony AAA game. But the truth is you can't charge money for the first experience on console that's going to be like that. You can play Warzone on your Xbox or PlayStation or PC for free. And in my opinion, it's the best Battle Royale experience. And that's a AAA game, completely free, supported by battle passes and skins. $40 is a tall order. Now, if it is $20, I actually think it will be successful. I just think 40 is a bit of a weird point because the multiplayer landscape at the minute, it's like, why would you spend money on this when you can play the multiplayer game you're currently playing? You know, look at Skull and Bones, right? Skull and Bones launched at full price, $70, and it is a online only experience riddled with microtransactions, and it launched in a really bad state. And they are just now talking about putting in on foot combat, right? It's like, and it's still a full price game. Like, Bungie need this to be a huge success. I think they know this, but like, charging money for the first premium extraction game on a console, it's a very tall order, and it could backfire. But I hope the best for them. I can't wait to play it. And a lot of people have gone against the art style. I think some of it looks really cool. I think the Tarkov experience in a sci-fi setting can really work on a console if they pull it off.
Well, listen, time is going to tell. It came out to lukewarm buzz. Crispy Bomb, Jamie had a lot to say. And I really want to get your thoughts on this because if you look at the playing field, Marathon is up against a big brick wall here, right? It's going directly against games like Apex Legends, and even PUBG still is a thing, which I don't know anybody that plays it, but people are playing it. You still are always going to fight up against the giant known as Fortnite. There's Warzone. There's Marvel Rivals. There are a lot of games that people these black hole games, as they're called. The difference between every one of the games that I just mentioned versus Marathon is that Marathon is asking for $40 for price of admission. Now, I'm not saying $40 is unreasonable. They spent a lot of money on this game. And you know what? Jamie's right. The art style, I actually really like it. I think the art style is great. And you know what? You match the art style with Bungie mechanics, and it could possibly work. The problem are all these little minutia things, like the no proximity chat, which a lot of people are really pissed off about. Now, could they change that? Possibly, right? Usually they respond pretty well to when it comes to, public opinion on certain things. The issue here, though, and I don't think this is going to change, is 3 maps. 3 maps, 6 operators, $40. When you go and you look at Marvel Rivals, you look at Apex Legends, you look at Warzone, you look at Fortnite, they are ice skating uphill, in my opinion. And again, nobody here will ever, I know some people in the chat have said it, which of course, no names here. I personally do not want to see Bungie fail. Everybody wants, again, I guess everyone likes to see the world burn. I don't. And nobody wants to see a company like Bungie go away. They've had a lot of scandals, like Jamie has said. They've been fighting, trying to retain players. They've been fighting, trying to retain people at the studio. And it hasn't been really good at Bungie in a long, long time. They've been working on this game for a while, since 2019. Somebody mentioned it in the chat. No single player story. And it's releasing very, very limited. Let's get your thoughts on, can Marathon survive?
Oh, it'll survive. Probably because of Xbox players. Just being honest. We spend, we'll spend $20 on an upgrade to play the game early. Simple things like that. I mean, $40 isn't the end all be all. Problem is that everybody's calling it an extraction shooter, and I'm like, okay, like I paid $100 for like the collector's edition of Division 1, and in the Dark Zone, absolutely, in my eyes, and maybe I'm wrong now, maybe it's a new thing of what an extraction shooter is. Division 2 even doubled down and kind of, said, like, look, like, unless you target somebody and, you're going to do it, which makes sense because, we give Ubisoft a lot of BS, but they did it right in Division 2, honestly. Very good when it comes to extracting, like, hey, I get that legendary weapon, and if somebody targets me, then guess what? It's on. Okay, but at least you have that one prompt that says, yeah, this is happening. This game, I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about Redfall like it's trash visually. I'm sorry, dude. Like, this is like cell shaded. Like, it's what you get. Does Fortnite get away with it? Sure, but it's free to play. You know, you look at the gaming landscape at this point. Like, I don't like FPS like that, so it's not in my realm anyway. But I look at all the people that are into FPS, including you, Boom, and I say it doesn't do anything for any of them either. They're not looking at it like it's this grand coming of Bungie coming back from the dead. Because there are two games that Bungie made that are two of my favorite games, and they are FPSs. And it is Halo 3 and it's Halo Reach. But if you're not providing that story and that understanding of how you do the mechanics, and you're just throwing something out there, I think that's the problem that people have. And I think they're not going to accept it, especially at a price point. They want it. If it was free to play, I think it has all the opportunity to be great. But as of now, I don't see any, and I follow people that are Call of Duty players, everything else. None of them are excited. If anything, it's, hey, it's Bungie. Hey, it's Bungie. And that's what it is. And I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like Bungie, you made a mistake. You went in bed with PlayStation. I'm sorry. They are not this type of game, if you were on Xbox's side, would be a hit, because they'd be like, no, that's not what we want to do. Or, you know what? Let's just release it free to play. Because at the end of the day, they're going to make money off the microtransactions, correct? 3 maps. That's what you said. I'm going to tell you right now. I had 3 maps in the Gears 3 beta. It was Thrashball, it was Trenches, and it was Checkout. Okay? In a beta. All right? We're in a different time space. Okay? You have free-to-play games that give you whatever you want. And if you want to pay for certain things, you pay for them. They are at the point they don't know what to do. And that's where I said, I corrected you on the Concord thing, but it's $40. Same price as Concord. I'll bet you that's the price. Because you know what? They have PlayStation, who is funding this, has no confidence in it. And the only thing that's going to carry it about is these multiplayer gamers, especially on Xbox. Sorry, people. We play multiplayer games, and we might make that happen. Look at Lawbreakers. Look at what Cliffy B did. He alienated us, and it failed. Think about it. That's all I really want to say.
No, it's a fair point. Again, this is going to be a game. Now, again, if this would have strictly launched on PlayStation, it would have been dead on arrival. The fact that it is releasing on multiple places at once is smart, right? The more people that can play it, the more population you're going to have playing the game. Infinite number, we've been talking in the DMs, and both Crispy and Jamie have a lot to say and a lot of fantastic points. Again, I want this to be clear. This isn't a pile on a rabbit situation. It's a conversation that a lot of people are having, and I'm very interested to get your thoughts and theories on what could potentially be, whether it's a failed or success, if Bungie's even a studio, because they're putting all the eggs in the basket, because they're pretty much done with Destiny. At least that's what we think. And they're putting all their eggs here, and they want to win. And I never going to, vote, to see anyone lose a job or see a studio close. I'm not in that camp. but they are definitely riding on a razor's edge on the success of this game. What are your thoughts on whether or not it will be successful, Umbra?
Well, there is a lot to unpack with this, right? And
But you know what? This is a conversational podcast. Take all the time you need, kind sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you. I have some skepticism, some skepticism myself, and I'm optimistic. I'm an optimistic kind of guy, but I can't help but feel there's missed opportunities here that Bungie could have done. And if I were Sony, I would have probably pushed for that. I look at Marathon; it's a very storied IP for Bungie, old school ties to it's a first person shooter it was back in the day on the Mac and things like that. And I kind of think like, man, if ever there was a moment or a time or a game that could have been the next quote unquote Halo, Marathon could have probably been it. You know what I mean? Just based off the history of the IP, it has similar ties to Halo in that you would go and find these servers and things like that to find information and from the lore, much like Halo did when we go to these terminals. Servers wasn't the right thing. Terminals is the right word. And you would find information of the lore around you, including yourself. And Halo had the same, if you all recall, with the Forerunners and things like that. So it has very much aligned things when it comes to that. And I feel like they purposely abandoned the setting of what it was before and kind of moved to this more futuristic dystopian kind of setting on Tau Ceti 4. Now on the first one they were I think orbiting Tau Ceti 4. Now they're on the planet here. I've seen some things that seem like it could be promise, and then I've seen some things that I'm like I don't know, right? It's a few things though that we have to go through. For one, if you all remember, I'm not sure if you all remember this, but for one, there's a lot of baggage with Bungie already because of past issues. Destiny 2, some things didn't excel or do well for them. Some did. And, now there's this whole, I guess, general thought that if this fails, they're going to get absorbed by Sony proper and then, dismantled or whatever it may be, and sent team members sent here and there, and they're going to probably eliminate some, et cetera, the doom and gloom. But for this game here, way back, there were reports of, lackluster internal gameplay sentiment from people who played the game. And there had been movements, like I said, in Bungie itself. We had Joe Ziegler, who replaced Christopher Barrett. And of course, we had failures from Sony with Concord, right? So now this is like, okay, well, this has to be it.
And this has to hit.
Yeah, it has to hit now because you've already had a major failure that cost what we're hearing at least upwards of 400 million or more, right? So now you can't have another failure of that magnitude or even close to it. My thing for me is this. And this is where I stand true in most games like this. I cannot get into a game that is purely online multiplayer shooter. I just can't do it personally. If I don't have anything that can tie me to a campaign first and then explore that, it just won't work for me. I can't speak for everyone. Just won't work for me. So games like Apex, games like Fortnite, games like the Escape from Tarkov or whatever, or even though that's ridiculous to try to get into because you can't just get it on console, right? And it's on PC, you have to go to their site or whatever. It's not on Steam. They have like a $250 limited edition or whatever, like all these nonsensical ways to get into it. Things like that, I won't ever really buy into those. To this day, I've never played Fortnite because it's a pure online shooter, not my style. Before, by the way, I didn't like the whole aspect of chopping down trees and building houses to kill people. I thought that was really stupid. No disrespect to anybody else. I just I'm not.
No, but it's a
I'm not Paul Bunyan. That's all. I'm not Paul Bunyan / Sniper June from Halo Reach. I just didn't feel like doing that. But I know if since have gone to, modes beyond that. But my thing is those games don't appeal to me. This is no different. From what I've seen in gameplay, I will say the gunplay looks solid. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Bungie seems to get that nailed down from Destiny and whoever they had left of the team that went from, their work with Halo to over there with Destiny and things of that nature. The thing is that I cannot grant them the same legacy of the same Bungie team that actually worked on the past Halo games. This is not the same Bungie team. Many of them have left. You know what I mean? Many are still with Halo Studios now. Many are dispersed elsewhere. So this isn't even the Bungie we grew up playing right here. You know what I mean? So there is that too that I have to make sure to say. But yeah, I don't know, man. I look at this and it's purely PVE, pure VP, PvP VE, and I don't know. It just does not appeal to me. I will say that, with the style they have of this, what is it? They call it the graphic realism.
Yeah.
That I do like the art and ways.
The artistic look of it is I'm not gonna. It has like a plastic shiny look to it.
It does, and it fits the description of what they're calling it, right? I think they call the shell you're in.
Yes.
What do they call it? What do they call it? I cannot remember. It does fit though. I cannot remember what they called it. I read it. And for whatever the reason, I cannot quite place.
It's probably because you're tired. We'll try and find it. We'll get to
realism.
Yes, it's definitely graphic realism. I just can't think of the name of the. What is that? Okay, anyway, whatever. So you're put into this shell of a body. It kind of reminds me like Ghost in the Shell or something. But so you're set on this dystopian setting, like I said, that's tied to the. In a way tied to the past games because Tau Ceti 4 is there. You're a cybernetic runner, as they call you. They got 4 different classes, I believe there is. The problem is you got 3 maps at launch. Now, this is another potential problem for them. We saw this happen with Halo where the lack of content was devastating because Halo initially at giant launch was excellent. The fact of the matter of it was that it didn't have enough content. They can't have that happen here. Especially with it just being an extraction shooter, I feel like they cannot have that happen. So you got 3 maps, 4 different characters,
and 6 operators. I got that name you were looking for. This is the official statement on the art style from Bungie themselves, and it was a change from graphic realism to graphic simplified. Is what they're calling it.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. My thing is they have it where you're going to be going around and you're still going to be finding terminals. So they do have lore bits that you're going to find. That's cool. I just feel like it would have been compounded more if you'd had a single player, a fully fleshed out single player with cutscene. Did you all see that 8-minute plus short that they had someone do for them?
Yes.
For this game?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it looked really good. It could win awards.
I think it could. It was phenomenal. Now imagine having that level of whatever for cutscenes in this game to tell the story in a single player game. That put that together with an extraction multiplayer as to add on to that, and I think you got a winner, right? Especially if you're talking about charging a premium. So if they dare touch $60. This game is dead. If they touch 70, it's the same. 40 is even pushing it, right? It's really but they can maybe do that. I don't want to write it off. I think that our PlayStation brothers have been thirsty enough for something that they might be never again, like Concord. They might try to latch on and then jump on just to defend the game and not let it go to the way of the dodo. But we'll see, but I don't know.